So there's a cuss word in the relationship world.
Oh boy.
That why you say oh boy? there is a word that every time I bring it up, I get a lot of negative feedback, and I'm okay with that. Because for me and my brand, I really want to help people be successful when it comes to their money and when it comes to their life in general. And a part of their life and money is in relationships. And in relationships, I believe there has to be submission.
Absolutely.
But I think a lot of people, when they hear me say, I think wives submitting to your husband is important. But I also believe that men submitting back to your wives as well is important. So let's talk about that for a little bit, and then don't get it twisted. I'm going to come back to y'all about this whole, what are the 3 functions a woman should play? Just so I want to give them some practical things that single people can start practicing and working on now. But ladies, and we've already identified, you two are different. All right, so, but I want y'all to think from the viewer and the listener right now. Why does the word submission come off wrong? And how should we, all of us, look at that word better?
I think oftentimes we look at the word submission, we think control. Because a lot of times you have some men who use it as a control mechanism.
True.
And so if we recognize what the word submission means, you know, as I previously stated, was when you're thinking about submission, I have to have something to submit under.
Yeah.
If you don't have a vision or a purpose, what am I submitting to?
Yeah.
So we look at the word submission like, oh, I can control you and you're going to do this and you're going to do that because that's what I said. Don't ask me any questions. But I don't really think that's what submission is all about. It's all about submitting to the vision and the purpose of the man, not submitting to the control of the man.
Yeah.
So the man doesn't want to swallow his pride and kill his flesh in that process and in that journey of understanding what submission truly means.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, the word's been weaponized, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's been weaponized to be used against people. And I think when every relationship is different. So when 2 people can come to the table and have a conversation about how they want this specific relationship to look, then there can be clarity and understanding what that means between those 2 people. So we can't sign on to being in a relationship and it look like Cindy and John's, or sign on to be in a relationship and it looks like Bob and, Sarah. We need to sign on to a relationship that we have designed with God in mind for us. And what happens is people just try to come together and put a relationship together from, unfortunately, the scraps or the pieces that they see on TV or from what
Instagram.
they on Instagram or unfortunately not a lot of people have good representations of what a successful relationship looks like. And I think that in order to be successful in a couple, I personally think that couples should have couple mentors.
Wow.
Or couple coaches.
I agree.
So no successful person, whether it's in business or personally or whatever, doesn't have support, doesn't have a roadmap or a blueprint to help them get to that place. And so what I think is necessary, because to me, collectivistic, right? I'm from Africa, so I always think community, is that we need to have more conversations. With people that are in different levels. We need the older generation to let us know, things that they've learned so that we can listen. What people don't want to do is listen because people's egos are in the way, their pain is in the way. We need to listen and figure out how we can apply that to our situation. Again, we're not listening to do exactly what they did, but to see what nuggets are for me and what do I need to pack away for when things get complex and we're not doing basic algebra anymore. Now we're on trigonometry, okay?
Right.
And so I think that having the community of other couples, having singles, having people that are single again, to be able to come together and have these really honest, vulnerable conversations could be the key to change things. So I think submissive has just been weaponized and there haven't been enough conversations to help people understand that they have a misconception of the concept.
Have we weaponized that word submissive as men?
Yes. I mean, our cultural reasoning has taught us, you're the head, you're the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, it's been used even with, leaders of church, where anytime that scripture comes out, wives, submit to your husbands. So you start to hear the, crossing. It's been weaponized as a means of, I want to control you. If I can control your thinking, I can control what you're doing.
Yes.
And so if particular age generation feels like, well, a woman's role is to be in the house and in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's a viewpoint that's so antiquated and needs to be thrown out. How do we get to being a team moving in a direction if you're feeling like your person who's on your team is supposed to be behind you, or they're just some servant?
Right.
Like, no. We're supposed to both be coming to this thing equally serving.
Yeah.
So if she can see me submit, then it'll be easier for her to submit. Because I have bosses that I submit to. So like for men, we can't weaponize it towards our women, but then when you go to your boss and he says, I need you to do A, B, C, D, and E, yes, sir.
Because we know you're capable of it.
Ooh.
So you're choosing not to do it in relationship, but you're doing it elsewhere. And that's problematic for a woman.
I think for me, take away from the boss, let's go even higher than that. If I can't submit to God, you know what I'm saying, then my wife shouldn't be following me. But if my wife sees me submitting to God, but she can't, you know, he can't and I can't love her in that way, not as in like God, but love her in a way and she's a partner, then we have a problem there as well.
Yes.
So I totally get you all.